Also, there's a lot more people on the groom's side. I don't know which one's which, but
Well,
definitely more people over here. All right, it is 1 p.m. Today is Tuesday, August 16th. This is a regularly scheduled city commission meeting. Madam Clerk, do we have a quorum?
Yes, Mayor.
All right, I believe it is turn for Commissioner Cessna to do the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation.
Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day that you have provided us. We ask for your guidance and grant us wisdom during this meeting to move our community forward in a positive direction. Be with all of our citizens in the community, but especially be with our first responders as they fulfill their duties in keeping our community safe. And we want to thank you for this day that you've given us with the cool weather and moisture that you're giving us. We ask that you provide us with more moisture to nourish our lands. We thank you for your continued blessings of our community. In this we pray. Amen.
Okay, the next thing up is approval of the minutes. Did anybody see any changes or corrections that we need to do? Hearing none, those will stand as presented. Next, we have public comment. This is time for anybody in the general community to come up and discuss anything that they would like. We reserve 30 minutes for this. Please limit yourself to 5 minutes at a time. If you do come up, please state your name. Anybody? And this is if the topic is not already on the agenda. Anybody? All right. We're done with public comment then.
Item 6A, the governing body is asked to consider and approve a request from Jackie Jiggett, Garden City Wind Booster Club, and Joey LaBelle, Steckline Communications West, to allow under Section 6-35 and 6-133 the possession, consumption, and sale of cereal malt beverages or alcoholic liquors on the sidewalk, streets, and public areas, specifically Clint Leitner Ballpark, on October 8th, 2022, from 6:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. for a music concert fundraiser. And I believe we have representatives from Garden City Wind and Steckline Communications here to speak to the commission. So Jackie or Joey, if you want to, you don't have to.
Hi, I'm Jackie Jiggett, for those that don't know me. We're planning an 80s concert for Clint Leitner Field. It will be fundraiser for the Booster Club. We support solely Garden City Wind. With that, the radio station is co-sponsor with us, and they will hold the liquor license if approved and take care of all the liquor sales.
Good choice on the music. So.
All right. Anything else? I think we're Thank you.
I move to approve the request as presented. No,
Go
sorry.
ahead. No? Go ahead.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right. There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
did just have a quick question. With it being a music concert, do we have to waive the noise ordinance or anything on
We will
that?
be done,
Or-
our plan is to be done by 10:30,
Okay.
so.
Oh, yeah, okay.
We can administratively waive as long as it
Okay.
doesn't go past 11. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you.
Item 6B, the governing body is asked to consider and approve a request from Garden City Fire Department personnel to waive Code Section 62-15, unlawful solicitation, to allow for department personnel to collect donations for the Muscular Dystrophy Association Fill the Boot Drive on September 17th, 2022, from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. And if you have any questions on this item, Training Chief Smith is here and available to answer those, or the battalion chief. I don't know who showed up.
I'll make the motion that we yeah. I'll make the motion that we approve the waiver of the code for this event.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Any comments you want to say to it? All right, thank you.
Item 7A, Parks and Recreation Director Stewart will provide an update on the fitness court mural installation for Southeast Park and requests Mayor Dick appoint a member of the City Commission to the Art Review Committee. Aaron?
Afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners.
Afternoon.
The item before you is obviously an update, kind of where we are in Southeast Park with the process, especially on the fitness court in the art mural installation. We have released the RFP to capture a local artist to do a design that would then go on this art piece. And as you can see back here are just a couple examples of what the full back looks like. And if you'll scroll just a little bit, in the memo, I talk about the windows, and that's kind of the little cloud pieces in there are what they call the windows on the front side. So those are the areas that the mural would be placed on this, on the fitness court. And I did just include another kind of example. These are examples from their website. There are several on there from national
Fitness.
thank you. So with that, obviously, we would like a commissioner to serve on that selection committee. I will note that the artist that is selected will receive a $5,000 grant award from the National Fitness Campaign's Artist Grant Fund. The Parks and Rec Department will be kicking in $150 for the other two finalists that are chosen by the committee for their work that are put in, and that was at the recommendation from Garden City Arts.
No, that's a great caveat.
Yeah, so
That's really great.
we just so you know, a little bit of the work that's going into this is we have reached out to the high school. Their art teacher is expressed interest in getting this to their students and getting it back to us. Obviously, we encourage all local artists to please submit for the RFP because we are excited. Just as a reminder, since we're scrolling past there just a little bit more, the kind of square in the left side of the screen, right there next to the hill, keep going to, or sorry, excuse me, right side of the screen, right there. Yeah, that's where the fitness court is designated to go. So that's where this piece will be.
One question I have is the mural size versus the courthouse mural size. Do you know the difference in that and what the difference in cost was? Because when we did that one, it wasn't like 13,000.
I think so.
But how much is the cost? Is the $5,000
So this
the
is-
only part of the cost, or is there dollars built into the campaign for the cost of the mural?
So they're not actually painting directly on the apparatus. They will submit this artwork that's then digitized
Aha.
and then
I see.
put on.
Okay.
So
That will make a
the
difference.
mural
Yep,
work
yep.
would be
Okay.
a much more
Okay.
significant
That makes
labor
that
effort,
cost
than this.
make sense.
Yeah,
Cool deal.
that's a good question.
And we have talked, and Commissioner Euler is interested in serving on this, so that's who we'll have appointed from the commission to be on this committee.
All right, Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron. Items B through E are staff reports. If you have any questions on those, we'd be happy to try to answer them. Hearing none, we'll draw your attention to the meetings of note. If any of those require RSVPs, please let Celine or Corey know. And I think we're now ready for item 9A. That's the appropriation ordinance, and if approved, it would be ordinance number 2561-2022A.
I'll make a motion, we approve appropriation ordinance number 2561-2022A.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes.
Item 10A, which if approved would be resolution 2933-2022, would remove a motor vehicle nuisance at 201 South First.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners, Trent Maxwell, Director of Neighborhood and Development Services. I come before you today for consideration for environmental code violation. This is at 201 South First. We have two vehicles. They are similar. One is a Chevy, one's a GMC, but they look like S10 pickups. The property we have, so staff has visited the property on many occasions, unable to contact the homeowner. The property owner, or be unable to contact the tenant. The property owner and the residents have been notified by two letters sent June 28th and June 14th of 2022. The homeowners have also tried to make contact by phone and was unable to do so, and they left a voicemail. According to 38-137 Environmental Code of Ordinances, and it has neither been abated, and the nuisance conditions have not been requested to come before the governing body for a hearing. Alternatives are the governing body, number one, may approve the attached resolution, which will allow us to abate the nuisance. Number two, the governing body may not approve the attached resolution. Staff recommends alternative number one. And of course, the abatement cost will be assessed to the parcel or property.
I'll make the motion to approve resolution number 2933-2022.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Thank you for sharing.
Item 10B, which if approved would be ordinance number 2931-2022, would rezone from R3 multifamily residential to C1 neighborhood shopping district, the property generally located at 712 St. John Street.
McKinsey.
Good
McKinsey.
afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners.
Oh.
Scott Cashpole, on behalf of Genesis Health, has requested a rezone for the property generally located at 712 St. John Street from R3 multifamily residential district to C1 neighborhood shopping district. So the proposed area for rezoning is the current location of Genesis Family Health Clinic, and they would like to expand their building and parking area to better serve the community's health needs. So the property is currently non-conforming. Health clinics are not a permitted or a conditional use within the R3 multifamily residential district. So the building addition would increase the nonconformity of the building unless it's rezoned. So the proposed land use is consistent with the comprehensive plan, which identifies the area as commercial residential potential. And the governing body may approve the request according to criteria in section 27.040, which is listed in your packet. The Planning Commission did recommend approval of the rezoning request on July 21st of 2022. And there are three alternatives before you today. The first is the governing body may adopt the Planning Commission's recommendation by approving the proposed resolution. The second is the governing body may override the Planning Commission's recommendation by a 2/3 majority vote. And the third is the governing body may return their recommendation to the Planning Commission with a statement specifying the basis for the governing body's failure to approve or disapprove. And staff recommends alternative one.
Yeah, I move that we approve ordinance number 2931-2022 to rezone.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Any discussion?
They do an excellent work, and I know this is, I mean, it is I'm glad they're saying where they're at, and it really is a great, it's a really great place, so.
Great. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Thank you, McKinsey.
Item 10C, which if approved would be ordinance number 2932-2022, would rezone from R3 multifamily residential to PF public facilities, the property generally located at the northwest portion of 801 Campus Drive. John.
Good afternoon. The applicant, Nick Nemechek, is requesting to rezone the northwest portion of the Garden City Community College from R3 multiple family residential district to PF Public Facilities District. The proposed area for rezoning previously functioned as residential lot, but now is vacant and owned by the college. The proposed land use is consistent with the comprehensive plan, which identifies the area as public facilities potential. Rezoning the property will not affect any of the surrounding properties. The governing body may approve the request and state their findings according to the criteria in section 27.040 listed below. The planning commission did recommend approval of the rezone request at the July 21st, 2022 meeting, and there are three alternatives. The governing body may adopt the planning commission's recommendation by approving the proposed ordinance. The second one is the governing body may override the planning commission's recommendation by a 2/3 majority vote. And the last alternative is the governing body may return the recommendation to the planning commission with a statement specifying the basis for the governing body's failure to approve or disapprove. Staff recommends alternative 1.
Any discussion?
I move to approve ordinance number 2932-2022.
Right, there's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Thank you. And note that Commissioner Ortiz is stepping down.
Mayor and Commissioners, item 12A, the governing body is asked to consider and approve a contract with the architect for the design development stage of the combined public works facility in an amount not to exceed $300,000. Mike?
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. Back on March 2nd of 2021, the governing body authorized staff to contract with the architect, the firm The Architect, to complete a space needs assessment for a future combined public works facility. The assessment was completed in September of 21 and accepted by the governing body. Since then, the site survey of the property located at Jenny Barker Road, which is directly east of the public utilities facility, excuse me, that site survey's been completed. The site survey was delayed slightly because it was combined with the site survey for the new fire station at the same time, to combine them and do it one time instead of paying mobilization twice. The cost for the space needs assessment was $44,700, and the site survey was $11,400. So total spent to date on this facility is $66,100. The next phase of this project is to lay out the proposed utilities, the street infrastructure, and the building locations where they would best fit. There's no guarantee, it's not for fact. Excuse me, and then those would be brought back for consideration, one to the committee that's formed, and then eventually back to the city commission for any approval to go forward. The work associated with this phase of the project is not to exceed $300,000. However, the work on this project, this phase could be stopped at any time, at any increment along the way if it's decided that we're not going to move forward, or we find some reason that the storm system wouldn't work, or whatever the case may be. So the options today would be to authorize the mayor to sign the contract with the architect for the design development stage of this combined public works facility, not to exceed $300,000, or do not authorize the contract for this particular phase. Staff recommends alternative 1. The funding for this will come from the solid waste. That's where we're budgeted for this project. Will come out of the 2022 fiscal year budget and the 2023 fiscal year budget. That's budgeted, which totals $300,000. And I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. This is the next big step. We're not building anything yet. We're just laying everything out. There'll be engineers involved. There'll be a structural component of that to say, okay, based upon the site view that we did, we'll have to determine what kind of buildings would best fit there, whether they're, based upon the foundations, that kind of stuff. But nothing's for fact yet, so it's just more of a fact finding, putting together the real information on utilities and streets and how best that's going to fit. I think at the end of the day, we'll have several different options to present to the committee, and then eventually back to the commission for consideration for the next step, which could be a year or 2 or 5 or a long time away.
Well, I know there was a timeline. I can't get that to open. What's the timeline on their what are they estimating this? Over the next 2 years it will take them, or?
This work?
Right.
Now, this work will probably take about 8 months combined, somewhere in that neighborhood. We don't want to, we're not in a big rush to get it done because we don't know for sure where we want to go, what the next step is going to be as far as funding or what the construction would actually look like. And a lot of that depends upon the economy, of course. So that's kind of where that's at.
Mike, just a question. I don't think it makes a material difference in the question before the commission, but is there another expense that's not included in the 66, or is that supposed to be 56,100? The sum of these two numbers would be 56,100?
Yeah, it would be an error on my part by.
But these are the only two things that
Those are
we've
the only
spent
two,
on the
yes.
project. Okay.
Yeah, I move that we authorize the mayor to sign the contract with the architect for the design development stage of the combined public works facility not to exceed $300,000.
Second.
Right, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes.
Thank you.
Mayor, while Commissioner Ortiz has stepped out, you and I had discussed taking up item C next, which he also would be stepping down from. It'll just save him a few steps. And so if it's all right with the commission, we'll move on to item 12C.
Sounds
The
good.
governing body is asked to consider and approve a proposal for design build services to remodel the Law Enforcement Center. Chief
Good afternoon.
Derek.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. At the June 21st, 2022 Commission meeting, the governing body was asked to approve the release of a request for proposal for design build services. Staff, in conjunction with the Finney County Sheriff's Office, identified a plan to repurpose the created space within the Law Enforcement Center due to the newly remodeled municipal court and evidence storage facility at 310 North 7th Street. The city and county commissions, along with the city manager and county administrator, have agreed to this plan to repurpose this space to better fit the needs of both organizations. Now, staff has received 3 proposals from qualified architectural firms and general contractors. Glmv partnered with Conco Construction and GMC partnered with Hutton Construction to submit proposals for design build services. The architect submitted a proposal for architectural professional services only and not in conjunction with the contractor doing design build. Now, design build is a method to deliver a project in which the design services and construction services are contracted by a single entity. So this allows us to expedite the process for cost and time savings, especially in today's market where materials and labors are steadily increasing. So staff has put together 4 alternatives for you guys to choose from. Alternative number 1 would be to approve the proposal from Glmv Architecture and Conco Construction for design build services with pre-construction fees at 4% of estimated construction costs for design services, a $3,000 pre-construction fee, and a construction fee of 6% of the estimated construction cost for construction management. Alternative number 2 would be to approve the proposal from GMC Architects with Hutton Construction for design build services with pre-construction fees at 12% of total construction costs for design services, a $2,500 pre-construction fee, and a construction fee of 9% of the cost of work. Number 3 would be to approve the proposal from the architect for architectural professional services only with a not to exceed amount of $110,250. And finally, number 4 would be to deny the proposals and to give staff further direction. The recommendation staff has put together was a selection committee was formed to review the proposals with representatives from both the city and county staff, along with the city commission, and the committee's recommendation was to approve alternative number 1. So the fiscal note on this would be in the fiscal year 2022 budget, the GCPD has allocated $150,000 in their GL account building repairs that would be used towards this remodel. Now, due to projected cost increases, the GCPD has also allocated $210,000 in their GL account capital improvement reserves that can be used as additional funds if needed. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, at the request of the mayor, I did sit on this committee, and all of the applicants, really great proposals, but I think the decision, the recommendations from the committee are option 1. So, but all of them had a lot of experience and some really great, just a lot of great information. So.
Any further discussion?
No.
All right.
I move to approve the proposal from GLMV Architecture and Conco Construction for design build services with pre-construction fees at 4% of estimated construction costs. For design services, a $3,000 pre-construction fee and construction fee of 6% of estimated construction costs for construction management.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Thank you. Thanks, Derek.
Thanks, Derek. All right, we'll wait for Commissioner Ortiz to come back, and then we'll go back to item 12B. Item 12B, the governing body is asked to consider and approve change order number 1 of the Farmland Road Improvements Construction Contract for $52,437.22 and 10 additional working days. Mike?
Good afternoon again, Mayor and Commissioners. At your regular scheduled meeting on July 6th of 2021, the governing body approved the award and execution of the construction contract for Farmland Road Improvements with Smoky Hill LLC for $2,640,836.54. The proposed change order 1 formalizes 15 changes that have been necessary to be implemented in the field to facilitate the construction and maintain the property owner's access while that road was being reconstructed. Excuse me, the changes are itemized A through O in the change order number 1 details and the breakdown. Included in the change order of the $52,437.22, $39,347.92 is due to the additional of 3 additional driveways that were not on the original plans. The contract is a unit contract, which most items are simply just means that you take that unit price and multiply it out times the quantities. Price adjustments for additional concrete pipe are also being made due to changes in the material and the delivery costs. Items N and O, including a tree, an extra tree and pipe removals did not have unit costs. So therefore, Wilson and Company received prices for these items from Smoky Hill, and they were deemed reasonable based upon the recent project bids that we've received on other projects. The 10 days are for the additional work and some delays that's been caused by the Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad. They have to issue the permit to close the railroad. You have to have a flagger down there to make sure all that's going down. If they're delayed beyond their normal scheduled contract days, there's a $1,500 per day liquidated damages for that. The cost of this change order request is for $52,437.22. The project budget presented to the Commission on July 6, 2021 meeting included $132,044 of contingency in the budget. With the proposed change order, should you approve it, $79,607 of contingency funds would remain in that account. 2 options: approve the change order number 1 for that amount, $52,437.22, and 10 additional working days, or do not approve that change order. Staff recommends alternative 1. And the project funding for this includes $1.5 million reimbursed by KDOT, $953,000 reimbursed by FCEDC, Joint Economic Incentive Fund, with half of the remaining costs, including this change order, would be split 50-50 between Finney County and the City of Garden City. If approved by the governing body, the city's portion would be paid from that particular GL count. Approving change order number 1 for that amount, $52,437.22, increases the construction contract price to $2,693,273.76. So, phew, didn't think I was going to get through all those numbers. Now, just an update on that particular project. It's all of the concrete's been poured except the section down by the railroad tracks. And as soon as the railroad will give them the permit and the flagger, they'll go ahead and finish that. Then there's some minor grading along the sides and some drainage. Then they'll come in and plane that street to take out some of the little rougher areas. But otherwise, I'd say it's 95% complete.
Drove down the road, it looks good.
I'll make the motion that we approve the change order number 1 for $52,437.22 and the 10 working days.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? That passes. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. Item D, the governing body is asked to consider a formal expression of support for a community facilities condition and needs assessment request for proposals to be sent out by a group convened by County Commission Chair Lon Pishney, which is named in the RFP as the Finney County Community Event Facility Task Force. Earlier in the year, County Commissioner Chair Lon Pishney convened a group of stakeholders, which included the taxing entities of Finney County, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, the Chamber of Commerce, and Finney County Economic Development, to discuss projects in the community which either were or could be viewed as civic centers, convention space, exhibition space, performing arts centers, etc. It was determined at the time there were 2 projects, either with plans or underway, and those would be the Sports of the World project and the Garden City Community College planned expansion of Pauline Joyce Fine Arts Facility. The County Commission had the identified need for improvements to the Fairgrounds exhibition building as well. As the City Commission is aware, while the city does not have an active indoor facility along these lines, the Commission had expressed through its March 2022 goal-setting retreat process the exploration of the feasibility of 3 different indoor facilities, one an ice facility, the other a recreation center, and then finally a convention center. Mayor Shannon Dick and myself were invited to participate in the working group convened by County Commissioner Chair Pishney. On August 11th, 2022, the convened group met to discuss a draft request for proposal, and that is attached. It was the product of the meeting. While few, if any, of the boards of the taxing entities or community groups have commissioned a task force, the group convened by the RFP is identified in this document as the Finney County Community Event Facility Task Force. For simplicity's sake, the remainder of this memo will be referring to that group as the task force. The RFP anticipates the task force would review the proposals submitted in response to its release during the first or second week of October. The task force would then recommend to the respective boards a firm to use for the scope of work described. The respective boards at that time would then consider the extent to which they would be willing to help fund a portion of the study. The task force at this time has not discussed a cost share model or if there will be a proposed cost share model for the boards to consider. At this time, each board is simply being asked to consider a vote to express support for the attached RFP to be released and for the proposals to be considered by the task force for the purpose of recommending to the participating boards a firm to perform the work. Your alternatives are to vote to express support, that the group identified as the task force seek proposals using the attached RFP, and return to the City Commission at the October 20th, 2022 regular meeting with a recommendation, or to not vote to express support for the same. Staff recommends alternative 1 as the City Commission has identified such a feasibility study be conducted for such a facility. And at this point, there is no request for funding. Task force discussions have included discussing a sharing in the cost among participating entities, but there has been no discussion regarding proportion or total estimated amount. If the governing body proceeds, the fiscal requirement of the recommendation of the task force is expected.
Well, I'm curious about, I know that we've had several studies, and I know we're doing a comprehensive park and recreation plan. I know we just recently did one for some type of combined facility for a possibility of an ice rink and something else. So I'm curious about what additional, because I know the Sports of the World, when they did that whole facility, there was a huge study done, and I don't know how old that study is, but I'm just wondering, I mean, is there already enough studies done? I mean, that information could be maybe looked at before we hire a firm, or maybe hire a firm to look at all of that information rather than doing new.
I would say, since I'm sitting on this, I feel I can answer a little bit. We talked about this in the meeting some, that really between the city comp plan, downtown comp plan, Parks and Rec master plan, and then the recently approved plan for the recreation ice facility.
Right.
We cover most of the topics of overall assessment of what we have and what we need. So really, this would be focusing on that meeting space if it's a convention or something else like that. So I do believe, and we do in that RFP, address some of those things in the background that says, these things are already going on, these things are coming up, like the Sports of the World. So we're not trying to replicate something that has been built or is going to be built. We're looking at what's the extra potential need for meeting spaces in our community.
Because I know that most of our dollars, I mean, a lot of dollars come through especially during the week, are from the business community. So, I mean, and I appreciate you making that clarification because I wasn't really sure.
Right.
Because, I know weekends are kind of filled with ongoing events, and that's where you fill up your hotels. Because I know that our hoteliers, I mean, they enjoy almost a full house all the time just because of the business traffic.
Yep.
So I was just wanting to make sure that this wasn't something that we're duplicating, number one, and I appreciate you pointing out that we've already taken account all of those.
And there was some talk also on an additional note, like similar to the ICE and the recreation study, that this plan for what needs it does say that it finds for the community, doesn't necessarily mean that that need is going to be met by public entities. It could be a private entity, it could be a combination of a public and private. So this isn't saying that whatever this comes out, this is going to be a public funded thing. It's just saying what is the need, where do we need to be looking in the future to meet some of those projected needs. Any other questions or anything?
Just a statement. I agree with what Commissioner Unruh had spoken about, just kind of getting that information and collaborating with what's already been done or what's already going to come to fruition, and hope that we see a collaborative sense of work in that, and not a competition of, well, this is going to be a much more better object to have in Garden City than what we've already planned and have come into the pipeline. So,
Yep.
You've expressed that too, Mayor, and appreciate the information on sharing that with us and getting us up to speed. So,
Because I know most of these things take place, and the things that you talked about being built and that we're planning to take place within the city. And I know the counties, their big one of their big draws is the fairgrounds and those things. And so I know that the city really has most of these things housed in it. So, I mean, I'm excited about that. But, I vote to express support for the group as identified as the task force seeking the proposal using the attached RFP and return to the City Commission at the October 20th, 2022 regular meeting with a recommendation regarding the firm to be hired by one or more of the participating entities.
Right. There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. One thing that I will say with this, typically when we have a task force, I mean, like we're talking about with just the mural for the workout, somebody's generally appointed from there. Because of the way that this kind of was put together, I've been acting as that role, and I will continue to act as that role unless somebody else
No, I think
really
that's
wants to join whatever the name of the task force is.
I think you're doing a good
All
job.
right, I'll keep on doing that.
The long name of the task
And
force. Yeah, I
yeah.
saw that. I thought, nope, I'm going to just keep it simple.
All right, so I'll continue to serve on that. Thank you.
Item E is the consent agenda. It has one item on it. So the consent agenda, if approved, would be item E1.
I'll make a motion, we approve the consent agenda E1.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes.
Thank you. That takes care of the business items. So we're ready for commission reports.
Commissioner Cessna.
Mural on the municipal court buildings looking really nice. Nice addition to our community. Also, a great event today on the groundbreaking at the skate park, and it'll be a great addition to our community. Hopefully you will see that before the end of the year. So just wanted to mention that tomorrow is the first day of school for kindergarten through 5th grade, 7th graders, 9th and 10th grade students in Garden City Public Schools, as well as all new students to the district. Just remember to slow down and be cautious around the schools as kids are getting to and from school. Also be mindful of the crossing guards as they're getting them across the heavier intersections in our community, as well as the buses that are picking up and dropping off students. Just remember when the red lights are flashing on the buses and the stop arms out to not pass the bus. It's a hefty fine, as well as if you are speeding in the school zones, the fines are doubled in the school zones as well. So just I know we get into a routine during the summer, but just be mindful that school will be in session for a half day tomorrow and then full day on Thursday. That's all I've got.
Commissioner Ortiz.
Yeah, pre-meeting was good information. I know that's going to be a decision coming in the next couple weeks, so that will be presented to the commission and to the city on that. Also, would like to just express that changes are coming. The skate park, that was an awesome groundbreaking this morning, so thanks to the rec for putting that on and serving those delicious cookies. Had it all over my face, I was told, so thanks for the heads up on wiping my face before I came to the pre-meeting.
Kindly told.
Yes. But also with that change, I was kind of asked, and I don't know if anybody from Streets is here that can answer, but bike lanes, I'm not much of a biker. What is the distance between, or how far away do you need to stay from the line to be inside the bike lane safely? People are just noticing that those bicyclists are on the line, and I don't know if there's a law, and I believe 3 foot comes to mind, but I don't know if that's true or not. So if we can get that answered somewhat sometime in the future, just to put it out there for public knowledge. But yeah, just to be safe as far as drivers going, school going, happening and starting, and then bicyclists being on those lanes, to just be aware of the safety precautions on that. So, but yeah, all of that. Thanks for for law enforcement being out, for firefighters being out, EMS, EMTs out there. So be safe. And that's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Commissioner Euler.
I had an opportunity to attend the Parks and Rec's production of Crybaby, and it was done very well. I enjoyed it. We have such great talent here, and it was fun to see adults and students and kids, and it was very well attended on a Sunday afternoon, and so I'm glad to see theater back in Garden City, so
Yeah.
Thanks for that. And yes, the mural does look amazing. What I love about the whole process is how the community is really getting involved and putting it out there on social media, and they're excited, and I kind of feel like we're seeing this progression just sort of organically happen, and I just love it. So continued good work, and I know the weather's at least cooperating if Michael gets out there this next week to be able to paint. So that's all I have.
Great. Commissioner Unruh.
So, yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone who put together the groundbreaking at the skate park. I'm really excited about the opportunity for just another great park space in our community. I don't know if the lights at Dean Wiley work. We're never up that late, but I mean, the lights, if they do work, will be a great addition. I don't know if they come on now or not yet. Do they? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm never up that late, so I'll never know. But I think it's really neat, and people have been commenting on those also. So thanks and it just really makes that park usable for a lot longer time. I know that Campus Drive, I've had a lot of people talk to me, either they love it or they hate it, and I understand. And Campus Drive is 3 lanes with a passing lane in the center. I mean, with a middle turn lane, it really is a real safety feature. And honestly, as far as the flow of traffic, it seems to be moving a lot faster.
Mm-hmm.
The bike lanes, it does feel a little bit fast when people are going 40 miles beside you on a bike. And so, yeah, I don't use that one yet still. Was stopped at the Farmers Market, which is a really great place on Saturdays, and just really great vendors down there if you ever stop down. But a lot of people were commenting on just the quality of our trails and how much they appreciate the trails and how well they're groomed and kept. And so I just want to make sure and say thank you for the trails and the trail system. I know that some of them, they were talking about some of we can't control stickers or goat heads, but that's Western Kansas. But they really, and we know that as fall is coming, that hopefully the traffic on the trails will pick up. It's been so hot. I know that it's been down a little bit, but I just want to just echo Commissioner Cessna's about, that slow and be safe with the students. I know Campus Drive gets really busy, and sometimes it's backed all the way up to 3rd Street, when young people are going to school. So just plan way ahead. I mean, it's easier. It's better to be early and then to get there, but I'll tell you, just being safe around our schools really means a lot, not only to the children, but also the safety guards or the crossing guards, and also just the parents and the people who are dropping their kids off. And that's all I have.
All right. Likewise, like everybody else said, exciting to be at the groundbreaking today. Spawn Ranch is doing a great job. The Parks and Rec is doing a really good job. Got a chance to talk to Aaron Spawn, really neat guy. It's good to have somebody who's that involved in those activities, because they're the ones that really know what makes something work and doesn't make something work. Not to say engineers in general don't do that, but when you have somebody who really understands the activities and stuff like that, you know that you're going to get a good process. So I'm really glad that that company ended up with the bid to do this work. I don't think we talked about National Night Out last time. I think it was the day anyway. When did National Night Out?
Beginning of August.
Yeah. So and that was really good. A lot of good food. You remember you have to pace yourself. Don't eat a hamburger at every single stop because you'll be tired of hamburgers by the end of the day. So I went out. I had a rookie with me, so it was fun to watch him. He kind of slowed down through the day. So that was interesting and good to see everybody out and some really good stuff done by the library and Live Well, Finney County out at East Garden Village. So that was really good. Great pre-meeting done by Mike. I told him it can only be so exciting when you talk about electricity and rates and stuff like that, but it's actually a pretty good pre-meeting and is some good history and stuff like that. And then likewise with Commissioner Cessna, with school starting, keep in mind everybody that's going to and from school and to their work, but just keep in mind that the biggest thing that our community does monetarily is educate our youth. So we're about to undertake another year of the biggest thing that our community commits to, and that's the education. So thanks to all the teachers, administrators, parents, grandparents, everybody who makes it work, because that is a big portion of our community. And the final thing is, August 9th, 3 years ago, what happened? Commissioner Cessna?
The fire at Tyson.
The fire at Tyson. And I want to bring this up every year because we mark our things where things go bad. We need to mark our things where things went good. This was about 3 years ago, was when we had the fire at Tyson, where we had the fire department do a great job, save our community economically, and it's the reason that we do put the extra steps and make sure that they have all the equipment that they can do to make sure that when there's an emergency, which we hope it never happens, but when there's an emergency, they're able to step up and perform their job. And 3 years ago, we're marking a community that continues to grow instead of one where we're a completely different place if we didn't have the equipment, if we didn't have those people, if we didn't have that leadership. So just a reminder about the good things. Also, the commitment that Tyson made to our community.
Yes.
While they rebuilt, re-engineered, kept those employees paid without requiring them to do their normal job. So great to have that partnership as well. But keep those good things in mind, not just mark the bad ones. So, all right, with that, we are done.